Okay kids, Mr Slater took you through our first sketching exercise, which was, well, you tell me, what was it? Yep, 1 point perspective. So that allowed us to look at an object, draw an object in 3 dimensions. What you should be saying to yourself is, why am I drawing in 3 dimensions? What's the advantages? Well, the advantages are, we just see it's more realistic. Now, 1 point perspective is okay. Remember, it was using just a single point and drawing in towards the object. That's good for rooms. It's good for looking at, inside of buildings and stuff like that. But it doesn't really cut it for some of the other stuff we're doing. So we like you to do a slightly more complicated technique, which is 2 point perspective. So you kind of guessed that. We're going to use 2 points this time, 2 vanishing points instead of one of them. All you'll need is a pencil, piece of paper or card or something to draw on. It doesn't matter if it's lined, and a straight edge. You don't need a ruler. I do have numbers on here, but to be fair, I can use this side here as well, which doesn't have numbers. Don't need a full A4 size. I'm just going to use the A4 so that you can see it. So I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger than what you would have, and then from there we'll be able to take, I'm just going to pop that under there. From there you'll be able to draw a little bit smaller than what I'm actually doing. And then for the final thing, then what we'll do is we'll get you to do it in slightly bigger bits of paper. Okay, so how do we set it up? Well, I've got my page here. First thing I need is a couple of vanishing points. So for this exercise, just for the very, very first time, I'm going to put my vanishing points just up here. So I'm about 3/4 of the way up my page. You can put them higher up if you want, but that's high enough just now. And normally we give these names. We call them VP1, vanishing point 1, and vanishing point 2. Simple as that. If I'm going to be drawing something, and I've got this block here just to demonstrate, if I'm going to be drawing something, everything that we tend to draw starts out as a box or a rectangle or a square, and then we either add or subtract material from it. So you can see in this one here, I've taken some material away from here. But the things I'm interested here is this line here, which is called the leading edge. So I've got my leading edge of my object. I've got the right hand side here, which is going to give me the depth of the object, and the left hand side here, which is going to give me the length of the object. So my leading edge deals with the, yeah, that's right, the height of the object. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm not going to do the cutaway bit, that'll be for a little bit later. I'm going to take my straight edge, and I'm going to try and keep all the lines which I'm drawing vertically, I'm going to try and keep them parallel to each other. So to do that, I'm just going to move my straight edge to the edge of the paper here, and then kind of slide it along without kind of making it go wiggly woggly like this. So we pop it along the end, slide it along. So roughly just off the centre. Don't do it right in the centre, just slightly off centre. I'm going to draw my leading edge of the object. Now I've drawn my line quite dark, and this is so you can see it. You should be drawing yours quite lightly. The light lines we call construction lines. The dark lines we call outlines, and we only darken the lines of the object we want to see. So going back to my block here, the blue line which has been outlined here, this would be my outline of my object. Okay, so here is my leading edge, which gives me the height. Now you can work to the right hand side or the left hand side first, it doesn't really matter. What we're going to do is take the top of the leading edge, and I'm going to take that off to my vanishing point. So I tend to put my pencil on the point, bring in my straight edge, and then rotate it round until I can see that it's going to go through that cross up there. And sometimes I'll just double check and make sure my pencil lines up with it, and then take a line across. Okay, so you can see that there. I'm going to do exactly the same at the bottom of the leading edge as well. So pencil on and rotate, we can go back up again. Okay, so I've got this kind of triangular shape going on. And I'm going to do the same at the other side as well. So I'm going to go from the top of the leading edge here. At this time I could start at the vanishing point to get more accurate, slide it round here because then I can see exactly where it reaches the top there. I'm going to try and do this neat and accurate. And line back to the vanishing point. You can go through the vanishing point, don't have to stop at it. Rotate round to the bottom of the leading edge and back up to the vanishing point. Now, if you don't have a straight edge, you can actually sketch this by hand, okay? And you're just trying to get your lines going through that vanishing point. See if you can find something. Anything can be a straight edge. There we go, a wee Tesco gift card, that would work. Exactly the same. Okay, I said in my block here, I wanted to do the right hand side, which would give me the depth, and the left hand side would give me the length of the object. So that's what I'm going to decide next on here. So to get the width of the object, the depth going back here. I'm going to do this the shorter side here. I'd like my vertical line to be parallel to the one I've already drawn. So if I put my straight edge on the line I've drawn here, on my leading edge, and slide it across like this, without moving it around like this, what we don't want to see is this little thing here. So if I've got my vanishing point up here, my leading edge, you can see there's my leading edge coming down here. What I don't want to see is a line going in this direction like this. If I slide this back along here now, you'll see the difference in the angle. So this is the correct side, this is the wrong side. Okay, so this is where people go wrong. Parallel, these two lines are parallel to each other. Okay, so here, slide it along and then bring it down. So there's the width of the object. This side here, left hand side, is going to be the length of the object. So again, I'm going to pop this on here, slide it along without wiggling it, and just connect from the top to the bottom, and that now gives me the length. So I've got length, height and depth, the three key things that you do use when we're sketching. It's a bit like standing on a street corner. Some people like to think that, you know, looking down the road, houses or shops that way. That's how some people see it. If I'm thinking it's my house on the street corner, the one thing that's missing at the moment is a roof, isn't it? So I don't have these lines in here. So I know that I'm going to have a line at the front of this box here. So this would be the equivalent of my block here. I've got a line here and a line here, and these two lines have a relationship with each other, as do the front edge here and the back edge here. So I'm missing this edge here, and I'm missing this one here. So I need to replete these somewhere here. And to follow the rules, I'm going to go from the right hand side, and I'm going to go back to vanishing point 1. So again, making sure I'm going through that little vanishing point, and then from the right hand side, I'm going to come from here, and I'm going to go to the left hand edge this time. So left hand edge up to the right one. Now watch this time, I'm not going to draw from up here. I'm going to position it here, and I'm only going to stop here because I know that that edge stops. It doesn't go any further there. And this is a trick that we'll use to try and improve our sketching. So now you can see the three sides. So here's the front, the side and the top of my object. Lines which are vertical should remain vertical with each and parallel with each other. Lines which are going back the way should go back to a vanishing point, unless the object's a funny shape. All my lines, if I put my pencil here, you can just check. If you've got a line which is not going through that vanishing point, they are going in this direction, then it's wrong. And the same when I'm looking in this direction here. These should all match up, all on the vanishing point here. That's the way to check your work. Now that I've done that, Mr. Slater showed you how to use an outline, so the construction lines are drawn nice and light, and you come in with your darker pencil and you go round the lines which we want to see of the object. You don't have to rub these other ones out. Hopefully we'll get you trained so that your construction lines are so light that you can just see them. If I'm doing this in a classroom with you, I'd be demonstrating how you'd just be able to see those lines and no more. There'd hardly be anything on them. Okay, last two lines in. So I don't need to go through the vanishing point this time, I'm just highlighting over these lines here. Again, trying to keep my work neat and tidy. So that's the first one that we've actually got. Okay, that's how to do it. You can watch through that at your own pace. Stop, pause, draw at your pace. Okay, next thing involves is a task I want you to do. So the task involves a slightly different scenario where I'm going to put my two vanishing points more to the middle of the page, here and here. And you can number them up again. You can call them VP1, VP2, or 1 and 2, or if you're quite good, you can leave them off. I'm going to do the first one here again. So I'm kind of over to the right hand side of the page this time. I'm not going to make it a big box, make it a little box. So there's my leading edge, my vertical edge. The rules were, lines now go back to vanishing point. So the top of the leading edge, back to vanishing point 1. Bottom, back to vanishing point 1. Okay, and again, bottom, back to vanishing point 2. Top, back to vanishing point 2. Now what I hope to do, as we get better at this, we're going to start dropping some lines off, and I'll show you the next two lines. So again, I'm going to use my vertical leading edge here. I'm going to have a little narrow box, so this time I'm only going to go here. So there's one parallel line, I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to go my second parallel line to here. So there's the two sides of the box. I've just now got the top to do again. So the top, left hand side, goes to the right hand vanishing point, right hand side, left hand vanishing point. But watch what I'm going to do. pencil on here, line it up with my vanishing point. I'm only going to take it back to here. I know it goes up there, but I know the box finishes here. Same at this side here. I showed you this last time, pencil on. I only want to go as far back as I really have to. So I start dropping my lines off. So there's my little box there, and I can then line this in. So again, I give it my outline only of the edges that we want to see. And you'll spend your wee bit of time doing that. Okay, I'll let you finish that one. The next part of this task is to add some more leading edges in, just around the page, so we can see what happens, and changing the size and the shape of your box. So I might have a leading edge going down here. I might have one coming on this side. Make that one a tall one. I might have one closer to the middle here. Make that a wee short one. And I might actually have one kind of round about the middle line here as well. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I just want to fill the page. You can fill it with as many as you want. Now, if we do all of these with all the lines, it will get kind of complicated. So here's where I'm hoping that you use what I've shown you. I'm going to do this one here because it kind of goes to right in the middle and it's easier to see. So this time I know that the top and the bottom, although I'm above the vanishing point this time, the rules are the same. Top and the bottom go back to the vanishing point. So the bottom goes back to vanishing point 2. The top goes back to vanishing point 2. Okay, so I've drawn that line in. I'm not going to draw any more of these lines. Watch what I'm going to do. So there's the top of the leading edge there. I'm on vanishing point 2. I'm only going to draw it back as far as I want my box to be, the size of it. Same at this side here. So the top and bottom go back to vanishing point 1. Okay, I want a big long flat box. I'm only going to draw it as far as I think that the length of the box is. That's all I'm going to do. It just tidies up a little bit. From there, I'm going to add in my corners, my edges. So here's my vertical line. So again, I come across to where I drew this, and I draw one down. Come across to the edge of this one. So again, look, I'm still doing this sliding method here, and I do this down. Okay. And the last thing is I'm going to connect the bottom of this. So as you're doing this, it should start sinking in here. When we do design, we use this technique for sketching objects. When we do graphics, we use this technique for drawing different parts of an object. And also, when we're doing any of our courses, even our practical woodwork course, we still use this technique to show what an object looks like, because it's good to be able to sketch and demonstrate something. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And even if you don't take our subjects, it's good to know, because then you'll be impressed that other subject matters with what you've been taught. Okay, let's finish off. So you notice now I'm above my vanishing points. Yeah, this time I'm not going to see the top of the box, I'm going to see the bottom of the box. So when I'm below the vanishing point, I see the top of the box. When I'm above the vanishing points drawn, I see underneath it, and it's a good way of sketching things which you want to show in different ways. So again, the rules are, so the left hand side goes to the right hand vanishing point, and again, I'm only going to draw it down so far. The right hand side here goes back to the left vanishing point, and again, you can see there where the two lines now end up crossing. I don't need this one here, but I've done it nice and lightly. And again, I come back in and I'm just going to outline the lines which I want. There you go. So that is 2-point perspective sketching of basic boxes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add an extra little video in, which is going to show you some additional stuff. If you want to take this a little bit further, before we hit the next topic on this sketching episode, then watch what I've got, and you can do a wee bit of repeat, and it'll give you something a little bit extra to play around with. 2-point perspective, 2 vanishing points, above or below the 2 vanishing points here, you add in your number of different leading edges, and you give us a little representation. A bit similar to what you did with your 1-point perspective, but this time you can see the difference, and then you decide which one looks better.